This is totally gonna be the thumbnail for the episode. Hello, I'm Kristen, also known as Voolenvine, here on my YouTube channel where I chat about what I'm knitting, what I'm sewing, what I'm making, or whatever crafty rabbit hole I happen to be diving down this week. And as always, I'm so happy that you're taking some time out of your day to chat about all those amazing things with me. And yeah, I actually have a lot to get through today, so we should crack on, gather around, grab a cup of something, and let's get into it. But of course, we do have a couple of announcements. So the first one is, of course, we have our History Make-Along, which is a year-long make-along where we're all endeavoring to make something historically inspired prior to the 1950s or during the 1950s. It's just a really fun make-along where you can either sew, knit, crochet, weave, whatever your craft is, hop on board and make something historically inspired by your favorite time period, your favorite era, again, all during or prior to the 1950s. Of course, there are two ways to join. The first being is to hop on over to the Voolenvine Ravelry group where there is a designated thread for this make-along. All you have to do is join the chatter that's happening in there, share your projects, share photos, share links. It's a really fun, lively, happening group, lots of inspiration happening in there. And then of course, you can also hop on over and double dip into Instagram using hashtag HistoryMAL. And again, same rules apply, just share your makes, share your progress, use the hashtag. And come March 1st, 2021, I will lock the Ravelry thread and do 2 drawings for a giveaway prize from Instagram and from Ravelry. So definitely check that out. There's still plenty of time to join. It's so much fun and very, very inspiring if you are into that type of thing. The last announcement that I have for you is that this channel is sponsored by the one and only Skillshare, which is an online learning community platform where you can learn pretty much anything. I use it all the time when I need a crash course in something that I need to know in the moment, be it for my small business, Voolenvine Yarns, for photography, for learning how to use Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, which I'm editing this here video on. There's always something I need to learn in the moment. It's the first place that I look when I have a question about something, anything. So if that's something that interests you, click on the link in the description box below and you can try Skillshare for 2 weeks absolutely free on yours truly. And thank you very much, Skillshare. All right, my friends, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, I have a lot to get through. So let's start with what's on my needles. Last week I had a finished object, and that was my Lady Sirdar vintage jumper. So yay, one thing off the needles. I'm currently in the midst of trying to get something else off the needles that's been on the needles for quite some time. And that is my Nurtured Pullover by Andrea Mowry. And I thought that I would have it finished by this week, but unfortunately the raglan decreases are proving to be quite a slog. So I'm still plowing my way through this sweater, although I am pretty sure by the next episode next week I will have a finished sweater, because look how far I got, you guys. It's pretty close. As you can see, I made quite a bit of progress on the raglan decreases, and last week when I showed this to you, I had just joined the sleeves to the body. And yeah, it's very, very relaxing. So, you know, there was a little bit of shaping down here, but now it's pretty much smooth sailing all in the round. And then eventually, once I get to a certain stitch count, I have to do some short row shaping in the back to give, a lot of designers include short row shaping in the back of sweaters to kind of elongate the back. So there is a little bit of shaping in the back because, you know, your back is rounded. Most of our backs are rounded, at least my back is Quasimodo rounded, given the fact that I sit in front of a computer most of the day. When I'm not dyeing yarn, it's, you know, I do not have good posture. But anyway, I digress. This is one of the reasons why a lot of knitwear designers include short row shaping in the back to compensate for that little back curvature, you know, that most of us have. So at least that's what I think it is. But anyway, it helps me out at least. Sorry guys, I had way too much caffeine this morning, so after the short row shaping, all I have to do, I'm assuming, is knit the neck ribbing, and I will have a new pullover for fall winter, and I cannot wait. I feel like this is gonna go with so much of my wardrobe because it's charcoal black. Again, the yarn is Gilead, which is a worsted Aran weight yarn, I believe. It's 100% merino wool, and I am in love with it. It's just so squidgy and woolly, and yeah, highly recommend it if you are looking for a good workhorse yarn. So I'm trying to think what else I want to say about this, other than I did get some new stitch markers in the mail. I don't know if you can see them. They're just basic light bulb removable stitch markers. I really like these, and they're they're rose gold. I mean, I could not resist. And I just got these off of Amazon for, I think they're like a pack of 100 for about $10 US. So I thought that was a really good deal, since, you know, whenever I get a pack of stitch markers, no matter what kind of stitch markers, they all at some point eventually get lost in the abyss to another dimension. So, you know, anytime I can score just a big box of cheapo stitch markers, it's always a win for me. But I really like these light bulb stitch markers. They come in handy very often for me. So yeah, that is all I have to say about my my nurtured pullover sweater by Andrea Mowry. And again, highly recommend it. So yay! Believe it or not, guys, I actually do have a finished object to share with you this week. And this is probably why I did not finish my nurtured sweater in time, because the wheels got a turning and inspiration struck, and I finally designed a new pattern. Some days I wake up and I'm like, I'm just gonna design something, and that's how I work. I don't question it, I just go with the flow. So anyway, this week I have a new hat pattern that I am planning to publish in the near future, and here it is. Guys, yeah. Does this look familiar? If you are a regular viewer of this channel, you might recognize this stitch pattern right here with the beading and everything. This is the accomplice to my Calan Mai Cowl, my friends. So this is a pattern that I designed last year, almost to the date. So this is the Calan Mai Hat, and I will try it on for you. And because I love slouchy hats, I made it slouchy. So yeah, here is what it looks like up close. And of course I added some beading to it. Of course, the beads are optional. If you don't want to add beads, you don't have to, but I feel like it just adds a nice little subtle sparkle to it. And my favorite part about this pattern, get ready, is the back. I don't know if you can see that. If not, I will add a photo, but yeah, I mean, look at that. How cool is that, guys? Of course, you will also have the option to add a pom-pom, because what's a hat without a pom-pom? But anyway, let me talk more about the yarn that I'm using for this. This is knit out of my new Sorial base, which is 100% superwash merino wool, worsted weight. So needless to say, it is a super quick knit. This took me about maybe 2 days to whip up, and yeah, so holiday gifts for the win. This is definitely, I think, I'm gonna make a couple for people in my family because it's super quick. I kid you not. So while this is worsted, my Calan Mai Cowl is actually knit out of DK weight. Well, actually it's fingering weight held together with a strand of lace weight mohair. So I am endeavoring to design a DK weight version of this hat. I haven't really worked out logistics yet, but I may release the worsted weight version first and then update the pattern later with a DK weight version a little bit later. So it's still a little bit up in the air right now, but there is a DK weight version coming. So I hope you guys are excited for that. I'm trying to think what else I want to say about it. Other than, yeah, this just came together really well and really quickly. So yay, new pattern design. It's been a while. I do have a handful of test knitters already, but if I do need more, I will put a call out to test knitters on Instagram, so do watch that space. But for the time being, please do not contact me about test knitting just yet. I promise if I do need test knitters, I will put a call out on Instagram, so watch that space. Beading, if you are wondering about beads for this, it takes size 6 beads with my method of knitting with beads is that I use a crochet hook. So I use a size 10 crochet hook, which has a very fine point that fits right through the size 6 glass bead head, if that makes any sense. And I do have a tutorial out there for knitting with beads, which I will link in the doobly-doo up here somewhere. So do check that out if you're completely new to knitting with beads. A lot of people have found that helpful, so do check that out. But yes, new knitting pattern. I am very, very excited. I'm hoping to release this version in about 2 weeks. So, you know, giving you guys plenty of time if you want to knit one of these for the holidays or, you know, what have you. So anyway, I think that is all that I want to say, other than it is slouchy. And, you know, of course, if you want to make it less slouchy, you add less repeats. If you want to make it more slouchy, you add more repeats of the pattern. So it's very, very simple and straightforward like that. But yeah, more details to come. And yeah, so yay, Calan Mai Hat. Believe it or not, I do have some sewing to share with you this week. And this is something, I feel like this month, November, is the month of finishing all the things, which is very, I don't know, I feel like once I lose interest in something, it just kind of, I sweep it under the rug and I never come back to it. I'm a terrible person. But this month, it seems like I'm revisiting a lot of projects that have been languishing or I've been meaning to finish. I blame COVID, you guys. Everything I blame on COVID. But my sewing mojo is coming back, huzzah, and you know, clearly I want to finish all the knits, so that is a good thing. Again, I'm not questioning it, I'm just going with the flow. But this is a project that I began, I want to say towards the end of last winter. I'm completely forgetting, but I finally pulled it out of the closet, or I should say Dennis pulled it out of the closet. One day I was just like humming and hawing. I'm like, I don't know what to work on. I don't know what to sew. I want to sew something, but I just don't know what. And then Dennis pulled this out of the closet and he goes, why don't you just finish this? So I did. Yeah. You're not going to be able to see it in all its glory right here because it is one giant brown fluffy blob, but this is a jacket that I sewed for Dennis. And remember when I was going through a crazy Sherpa lining phase? Yeah. I just wanted to sew all the things Sherpa or line everything with Sherpa. I bought all the things Sherpa. Anyway. This is the lining of it. It's super warm, cuddly, and cozy. A total bitch to sew with, but we made it happen. So I will try it on so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. Yeah, oh, guys, this is like one ginormous warm hug. And this is a pattern by McCall's. Yes, it's by McCall's. I'm blanking on the number, but I'll put all the information in the doobly-doo down here in the description box. But if you recall, last time I showed it to you, the reason why I put it on the back burner is because when I had this flipped inside out and I had to stitch the facing to the hood and everything, you can't really see what's happening on the right side when it's flipped inside out. So once I flipped it right side out, this is all wonky right here. So you know, this was not without having to finagle and fudge a few things, but I finally took it upon myself to flip it back inside out 10 months later and looked at it and just said, you know, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. I just stitched this a little bit more wonky than the other side because I couldn't figure it out. The other side was fine and the opposite side was just a little wonky. So I unpicked that part and just restitched over, flipped everything back out again, and it was fine. So here we are. I finished it. There's a pocket over here at the side, which I think is really cool. I told Dennis, I'm like, this is where you can put your Metro card. I don't know. He doesn't take the train to work anymore. So, you know, he drives to work, so he has no need for a Metro card. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so I will stand up. And yeah, the inside, okay, let me talk about the zipper because this is not supposed to have a zipper. The pattern does not call for a zipper, it calls for buttons. However, when it came to stitching through multiple layers with Sherpa involved, and I messed up the buttonholes royally. I was convinced that I completely sabotaged the entire project. So again, I put it to the side, I called it quits for the day, left it aside, woke up in the morning, and I was just like lying in bed, thinking about the project. I'm like, how can I fix this? the buttonholes are horrendous, they're hideous. What else can I do to fix it? And I'm like, why not just put a zipper in? I mean, so I went stash diving, and amazingly, I had this matching kind of beige metal zipper, and you know, I laid it out and I realized that it worked. And if you can see here, you have some remnants of some buttonholes that were never meant to be. And this is all, like, this turned out so well. Like, this is all whip stitched in place, but it looks like it was sewn in from the other side. Anyway, geeking out. So while that is on the inside, no one has to know it's there. And the zipper just worked out really, really well. So I will zip it up for you. And this is what it looks like zipped up. I actually did a little top stitching along the side, which again, I completely improvised, but I felt like it was kind of needed just to give it that extra bit of pizzazz. It also has, where are the pockets? Where are the pockets? There are pockets in here, I assure you. Oh, they're down here. Yeah, so it has pockets that are nice and toasty and warm. So I am going to endeavor to get some photos of Dennis wearing this over the weekend. Last weekend I was still working on it and didn't finish it until the evening, and the following day was Monday. So unfortunately I'm gonna have to get some photos of him in it this weekend, and I will post those over on my Instagram feed. So that's what the hood looks like on. And here are the cuffs. These are the only buttonholes that did work out. These turned out fine. I don't know why I couldn't execute the buttonholes on the front, but these buttonholes turned out fine. But yeah, Dennis tried it on. He loves it. The funny thing is Dennis did not even ask for this coat. I just saw it, you know, I was browsing patterns and I'm like, oh, that looks like something that Dennis might like to wear, you know, just to chuck on when he's doing yard work or run an errand or something. And, you know, it turns out he actually really does like it. You know, I told him, don't lie to me. Like, do you like this or not? It's completely fine. And he loves it. His only complaint is that it's a little bit too long, but otherwise, I think this turned out really well, and I'm so proud of myself for finishing it. And yeah, this was not easy, guys. I mean, step by step, when you take things slow, you break things down into small little steps. It can be, but when it all is said and done, this was an achievement for me. So I'm very pleased with the way it turned out. It could have been a lot worse. Will I ever sew with Sherpa again? Not so much. I don't think so. It's not really high on the agenda, but yeah, I think the FO is cozy and it's gonna do its job. So yay! I am super excited about this next project. And again, this is a project that I talked about a while back, several months ago, that I was excited to start. I got all the fabric and then I just never started it. But I was browsing the Fold line, which is pretty much like the Ravelry for sewing, if that makes any sense. So it's a huge database of sewing patterns. You can buy patterns from there, browse patterns. It's wonderful. So on a rainy day, I was just scrolling through looking at coat patterns because I don't know, I thought it'd be fun to sew another coat. So I stumbled on this pattern right here. This one, which is Butterick 6604. And it's a double-breasted coat that has 2 buttons over here, optional fur collar, and 2 pleats, and it has a couple of different lengths to it as well. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is kind of exactly what I'm looking for. The coat that I was planning to make all those months ago was the Rumana Coat by Hand London. While I was excited about making that pattern, there were certain elements of it that I was like, there's something about it that just doesn't quite fit the bill. And then after reading the reviews, there were a couple of qualms about the construction and the fit, and I don't know, I just kind of got cold feet. So I said, I'm not feeling 100% about this pattern, so I'm just not going to commence with it. So I tabled it, even though I bought all the fabric, which I will show you right now. Again, this is the fabric that I purchased to make the Rumana Coat, which is some glorious, lovely black merino cashmere blend wool. like the yarn. So I anticipate after much wear it's gonna pill just a little bit because that's the nature of cashmere. Cashmere generally always wants to pill, but I do have one of those gleaners, so you know, if there are little pilly pills on here, I can just scrape them off. But yeah, so I think I got 5 yards of this, and then for the lining, because I'm a little bit extra like that, I got this glorious Liberty silk fabric. Yeah, I treated myself. I had no business treating myself, but here we are. This is, I think it's a little upside down, yeah. But this is their Strawberry Thief print, which has these beautiful flowers and strawberries and birds picking at them. Yeah, guys. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Hi, my name is Kristen and I am addicted to Liberty Fabrics. It is dangerous. I'm not allowed near Liberty Fabrics in the near future, but I do covet the Liberty Fabrics that I do hoard. So I think the time has come for me to dip into it instead of hoarding it. So this is going to be the coat and the lining, but the pattern does come with some optional fur trim around the collar. So I did hop on Mood and was browsing their faux fur section, and lo and behold, something caught my eye. And this is the part that I am super excited about because, are you ready for this? Yes! It's mauve fur, guys. It's like, well, the top coat is brown, but then it has like this under fluff of mauve. I am so over the moon geeking out over this. It's everything and all the things that I want in a coat. So, yeah, this is gonna be the fur trim. I don't think it's garish, do you guys? It's not too gaudy. I mean, yeah, I like it. The thing is, it matches so nicely with the lining. Look at that. Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm beside myself. I just don't know it. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. I kind of want a whole coat out of this. I mean, no, guys, I really don't. Who am I? What's my life? Yeah. All right. So I think I'm gonna get a kickstart on that this weekend, and we shall see what happens. I think I need to make a muslin, although it is a coat. I should probably make a muslin. But you know, it's like with coats, I think there's a little more wiggle room where, you know, you just have to get the basic sizing right. But I am a little concerned about the waistline because as I mentioned in previous episodes, I do have a longer waistline, so a longer torso. So generally with patterns, I do have to elongate it ever so slightly. Regardless, I should make a muslin. I will make a muslin. I'll be good, I'll make a muslin. While I was on the Mood website, I also got these shoulder pads because if you remember the last coat that I made, and I actually did not take a photo of it, but I did make a coat 2 years ago, I wanna say now, wow. And my friend Amy said that, you know, if you're gonna make a coat, you might wanna get some shoulder pads to kind of give the shoulder some structure. And these are just kind of little inserts or whatever. So yeah, that's gonna just sit, it's gonna sit on the shoulder like this. And this edge right here is gonna go butt up against the sleeve inset, if that makes any sense. So, you know, just to give it that little extra lift. I did get two. So yes, that is the plan for this weekend because coronavirus, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. Why do I even need a coat? I don't know. It's fun. It's just fun. So yeah, that is all I have to talk about this week, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this week. I'm gonna skip the blather segment only because there's been nothing much to talk about. I really don't have anything at the top of my mind that I feel like is blather-worthy, if that makes any sense. Also, I do have a lot of work to get back to, but thank you so much, as always, for hanging out with me this week. If you're new here, welcome. If you haven't already, please feel free to like and subscribe down below. I put out a video for your viewing pleasure every week. And until the next video, happy knitting, happy sewing, happy making. Bye!